Hey, Satanico here once again for God Loves Comics with another quick comic book haul video for you. And happy holidays to everyone. Hope everyone has a great holiday, and let's hope that 2022 is a hell of a lot better than 2021. It's been a rough couple of years. Anyway, let's start off on a good note with Batlash number 1. That is a Nick Cardy cover, all Nick Cardy art. The art inside is beautiful. Maybe I'll get around to showing you the art inside later, but beautiful cover. I've seen it many times online, never owned a copy. That's probably about a 5.0. And for this Batlash little lot of 3 comics, I paid $58, so they were not cheap. It's probably about fair value. Now this is number 6, also a Nick Cardy cover. One thing I noticed about number 6 as compared to number 1, number 1 is inked by Cardy and the art is beautiful. Number 6 is inked by Mike Zakowski, and Cardy seems to have left it a lot more sketchy in his layouts, and so the art is not nearly as impressive, even though the cover is still very nice. And then the piece de resistance is Showcase Presents number 76, Batlash. Will he save the West or will he ruin it? That great cover. And that is the first appearance of Batlash. It's not number 1. It is in Showcase 76, where a lot of first appearances actually took place. I actually got another first appearance in Showcase that I'll show in another haul. So very happy with that. Again, the art in that is phenomenal. Absolutely beautiful. And speaking of great art, I'm exceedingly happy with this batch. Okay, this is Our Love Story number 12. Now, all of these are reprints, and this one is actually a Sal Buscema cover. But all of these have some John Buscema art, some John Romita inks, and usually some Don Heck, in some cases J. Scott Pike, and in some cases, in one case there's a Matt Baker story and a Jack Kirby story. Both are incredibly beautiful. Both are reprints, really, from the 50s. I think the Kirby story is from 1960, or there's a Joe Maneely story as well. And this is number 3, and I believe that's a John Buscema cover, Sal's big brother. Again, beautiful. I enjoyed the artwork in these romance comics as much as any comic I've gotten recently. I really, I just poured over the artwork, and I really did it relatively quickly. But it's just so beautiful. The covers are beautiful too. They're not something I would have appreciated when I was younger, and now I appreciate them so much. You can see all of the elements that they brought to the table when they did their superhero work, and even other genres, in the Silver and in some cases the Golden Age. This is a John Romita cover. And all of these comics have issues. This was an incredible batch because most of these, first of all, they're incredibly hard to find in any kind of nice condition. All of these are they're mid-range, low mid-range, because they all have water damage. And in some cases, they also have a subscription crease. Even though this one has a non-color breaking subscription crease, and you can also see a tape pull right about there. And yet still these covers present beautifully, especially in the bags. And even in the bags I can feel, grab the one. This is the one that's not bagged, and I will bag it of course, but it actually has probably the most significant water damage. You can feel the waves across it. But anyway, they present beautifully. They're low to mid-grade, low mid-grade perhaps. And I believe this is a John Buscema cover as well, even though the male figure there looks Don Heckish, but I think it's John Buscema and Frank Giacoia, but I'm not positive. But all of these have incredible artwork inside, really beautiful. And I will get around maybe to showing those off. And now, staying with the the romance theme. This one I got for $9.99. It was just buy it now. I had seen it before online a few times and always thought to get it. And this is a surprise because that's a Walt Simonson cover. And you can kind of see some of the telltale ornamentation of a Walt Simonson, including the hair, the shape of her face, and of course the decorative elements. But still, you might not, and you can see Walt Simonson's signature. So otherwise, you might not recognize or might not consider it to be a Walt Simonson cover, you know, because he's not really well known for having done love stories and particularly working for DC. But this is a Walt Simonson cover, and inside it also has an Alex Toth interior story, which I believe is a reprint as well. And this came from the same dealer. This was also $9.99, and I basically just wanted to purchase something extra so I could combine shipping and save something on it. This is just more of a, you know, a quick key. This is the first appearance of Tim Drake in the Robin costume, something I really wouldn't have known a few years ago because I really was out of comics by this point and not really collecting Copper Age comics. But it's a nice comic to have, and it's a George Perez cover. And I intend to do, I believe it's George Perez. Yes, yeah, there's George Perez's signature. I'm not sure if I'm showing this. Yes. So I intend to do like a 10 best George Perez covers that I have in my collection, kind of an homage to George Perez, who came down with a very tragic terminal diagnosis recently. Of course, we hope against hope that that's not the case, but he has certainly had some difficult health issues, which led to his retirement, and it's really unfortunate. He's given so much to the industry, so much to the medium, I should say, not the industry. Now, this last batch is a mixed batch of Iron Man and Daredevil, and I am less happy with this because I definitely overpaid for it. I paid $107 for this batch. When I look at it, it had 32 bids, and I just came in, I just happened to glance at eBay, and it was probably in the last couple of minutes, and I don't know, the competitive side came out, and I just tossed up a bid, not thinking I would win at the last second, and I won. And then I was pretty happy when I won initially because these were all in beautiful condition, but I definitely overbid on this. This is Iron Man number 61, and that's a Rich Buckler and Frank Giacoia cover. It's pretty nice. He had all of these listed as high-grade comics, and indeed they are probably closing in on very fine. I don't know if they're high-grade. I think they're 7.5s, 8.0s, in some cases maybe 8.5, I'm not sure, which is really nice for comics from the 70s, but still, none of these were particularly, there were no keys. They're not particularly sought after, even though all of the bids on them suggest otherwise. And it is hard to find them in this kind of condition, but still, in retrospect, I think it was fair value at best, and it's not like people are dying to get these comics. So yeah, I overpaid for them. I'm a little frustrated with that. And I believe that's a Gil Kane cover, which I like quite a lot. This is, again, Rich Buckler, but this time with Klaus Janson. And then this may have some value. Those are probably only $5 comics, I think, or maybe a little bit more. This is probably a $10 comic. It does have an appearance of Thanos. It does have the Blood Brothers. And, again, it's hard to say. I'm not quite sure if this is a Buckler. I mean, normally it would be easy to tell if it was Gil Kane. This is a George Perez cover with Pablo Marcos, and I actually already have a copy of this from back in the day. And unfortunately, even though it's a beautiful copy, it does have a slight, well, I think it's color breaking, even though I can't see it in this light, but right here, a bend. you know, that really drops it. Otherwise, spine is beautiful, corners are beautiful, everything is really nice, but that probably drops it down to 7.5 or 8. Then this is Daredevil number 125. And let's take a look, see who's doing the art, because sometimes it's Bob Brown. In this case, it's Bob Brown and Klaus Janson. And in some cases, of course, it's Gene Colan. It's actually surprising to me that Klaus Janson was actually working on Daredevil this early, but then when I come to think of it, it's not too much before Frank Miller came online with Daredevil, and Klaus Janson eventually became, you know, his main man in the inking department. Now this is Gene Colan, and that's a beautiful cover, number 64. So a little bit out of order. Then we're going to go with number 60. Nice cover, and they're in nice condition, certainly, but again, I wouldn't say high grade, and this one certainly is not high grade. This is the earliest of the batch, and it is indeed Silver Age, and it is Gene Colan with George Klein, who's sometimes best known for being a relatively mediocre Jack Kirby inker. And then finally, this one is back up in the 120s, 129, and this has Bob Brown and Klaus Janson art. Very nice art inside, actually, by Bob Brown. Sometimes another one of those artists that's pretty overlooked. Man Bull in Chinatown. But the interesting aspect of this is it says that it has cameos by JFK and his brother Bobby Kennedy, and which is kind of interesting because this comic came out in 1971, so obviously it was after both men had been assassinated. But there is, at the end, it says, Foggy's re-election, a new job for Matt. You can see that right there. And so there's a political theme here, which may be the reason for the cameos. I haven't really... Oh, there we go. Didn't know if I'd find it. There is the shot of JFK, and it looks like also Walter Cronkite, the CBS News anchor. And it actually says John Fitzgerald Kennedy and his brother Robert Francis Kennedy are alive. How this can be and who was responsible for the cover-up are not known, and White House officials have put a seal on all news items for at least 24 hours. And then something about a special session of Congress. This was written by Marv Wolfman. So even though I don't know. Maybe it could be a Kennedy conspiracist. So that is the entire haul. I've got a lot more comics and a lot more boxes. I would say that the real treasure here is probably the first appearance of Batlash, and I also really enjoyed the romance comics. So that is it for now. Thanks very much for listening, and I will see you next time on God Loves Comics. Goodbye.